You see it for the first time on a Thursday, 6:58 a.m. The alarm hasn't gone off yet, but you're already awake. It's a habit from the last few years, opening the banking app before you even open your eyes. You've done it so long you stop noticing why. Your hand just reaches for the phone before your brain catches up. 7 digits. Not 6, 7. You blink. You count the zeros with your finger against the screen, like a kid who doesn't trust a number until he's touched it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. 7. You're sitting on the kitchen counter in your boxers. The kettle hasn't boiled yet. It's still dark outside, and the phone glows quieter than a phone usually glows at 6 in the morning. You don't call your parents. You don't text the group chat. You don't wake the person sleeping in the next room, who has no idea something important just happened a few feet away while they slept. You sit like that for a minute. Then another. A garbage truck passes outside, the only sound in the apartment besides the kettle ticking. You take a screenshot. You don't know why. Your hand does it before your head decides to. You'll probably never open that screenshot again. But you save it anyway, like the number might vanish if you don't pin it down right now. The person who opened his first savings account at 22 with a few $100s, thinking he'd be rich by 30, he doesn't exist anymore. He dissolved over years of transfers marked for later, months when the paycheck landed and left the same day for rent. 3 separate times he almost withdrew everything to buy something he wanted right then, and didn't. Nights friends called him out to a bar and he made up an excuse to stay home because he decided this month was a no-spend month. That one year the market dropped 30% and he kept transferring the same amount on the same day, jaw clenched, not checking the app for weeks because checking hurt too much. You are what he turned into. You walk to the bathroom. You look in the mirror. Same face, a different person living behind it. Rule 1. A million isn't a number. It's the receipt for the person you became while you were chasing it. Friday, lunch, the open office humming with keyboard noise. The group chat is collecting $30 from everyone for a gift for a coworker you've exchanged maybe 10 sentences with in an elevator over 2 years. A year ago, you would have sent the money in 30 seconds without reading the message twice, because saying no cost more than saying yes. The awkwardness at the next meeting, the excuse you'd have to invent, the second apologetic message after the first, sorry, can't this time. Paying and forgetting was always the cheap move. Today you read the message, set the phone down, finish your sandwich. An hour passes. You type, I'll pass this time. You hit send. You put the phone face down and wait for the spiral you know so well, the guilt, the urge to add an explanation, the follow-up message apologizing for the first one. Nothing comes. Someone drops a thumbs up. The chat moves on to arguing about cake flavors. Nobody asked why. Nobody thought less of you. You sit at your desk and realize the thing you spent 10 years afraid of took 5 seconds, and nothing happened. The fear was never about $30. It was about being seen as cheap, as someone who couldn't afford to be casual about money. At 7 figures, that fear quietly walked out of you without slamming the door on its way out. You don't owe anyone an explanation for what you do with your money anymore. You spent 10 years apologizing for your bank account. Today you stopped. Rule 2. A million doesn't change what you can afford. It changes what you stop having to explain. Monday morning, the bank calls. Not a robot, not hold music. A real person, a wealth manager named Daniel who handles preferred clients in your region. He has your direct number. He wants to review your portfolio, mention services available to clients at your level. You didn't apply for this. You didn't request a call. The system just noticed the number cross a line and sent someone toward you, instead of making you stand in line toward it. You don't answer right away. You set the phone down, walk to the window. An ordinary Monday outside, people heading to work, none of them knowing your customer tier just changed. You remember standing in a bank lobby at 23, waiting an hour to dispute a $9 fee that appeared with no explanation. The teller never looked up from her screen the whole conversation, flipped through papers, answered in one-word sentences, then told you there was nothing she could do and moved to the next person in line. You left that day feeling less like a customer and more like a problem being tolerated. That bank and this bank are the same bank. What changed wasn't the system's attitude. What changed is which version of the system you're now allowed to see. A day later, a pre-approved credit card arrives in the mail with a limit higher than anything you've ever been offered. A week after that, an investment firm calls about premium wealth services. You asked for none of it. You just crossed a line, and the line came to meet you. You go back to your laptop. You don't reply to Daniel right away. You leave the email unread for a couple hours. Because for the first time in your life, the bank can wait on you. Rule 3. $1 million doesn't earn the system's respect. It just opens a door into a room you didn't know existed. Saturday, 10 a.m. The farmer's market smells like fresh bread and wet pavement after morning rain. The self-checkout line is 7 people deep, everyone shuffling groceries, waiting for the scanner to catch a barcode. The cashier line is 2 people deep. A year ago, you would have picked the longer line without thinking. Self-checkout was free, and time wasn't. Because time was the one resource you had in surplus, while money never was. The cheap move was always whatever saved $1, even if it cost 15 minutes of your life. Today, you just walk to the cashier without deciding to. Only at the register do you notice you saved 15 minutes. And for the first time, those 15 minutes feel worth more than the price difference. They used to be worth less than $1. Today, they're worth more than 20. It starts happening everywhere. You stop driving across town to save $4 on gas. You stop spending 40 minutes comparing prices across 5 tabs to save $7. You stop combining 3 errands into one trip to avoid burning gas on a second one. What you used to call being smart, you now recognize as expensive. You realize the wealthy weren't lazy for paying for things you'd never pay for. They just knew something you didn't know yet. Time stops being infinite the second you have enough money to put a price on it. Your weekends start to feel longer, not because you have more time, because you stopped giving it away for $4. Rule 4. $1 million doesn't give you more time. It changes the price you put on the time you already had. Sunday, a backyard cookout, smoke drifting, bottles clinking. A college friend you've known for 12 years is telling a story about driving for a rideshare app on weekends now, because his rent went up $300 and the family budget is stretched thin. You nod. You make the right face. But something inside doesn't move the way it used to. A year ago, you would have felt that $300 in your chest, literally. You'd have remembered the exact feeling of running short before payday, the dread before the rent withdrawal, lying awake, redoing the math in your head. Today, you hear the number the way you'd process a weather report for a city you'll never visit. You feel a flicker of guilt for those 2 seconds of distance. Then you understand. It isn't that you stopped caring. It's translation loss. His problem is real. You just stopped speaking that language fluently. The $300 that would have wrecked your month at 24 doesn't live in your bones anymore. You remember what it felt like. You can't feel it. He keeps talking. You keep listening. The conversation carries on, fine. Nothing breaks on the surface. Dinner's still planned for next week. You're still in the group chat. But something quietly shifted in the room, and only you noticed. You think about how many of your friends are still living inside the math you escaped, counting tips, splitting checks to the cent, calculating whether they can afford a wedding 2 states away. You used to be one of them. You used to tell the story he's telling now. You don't anymore. You're not above him. You're just somewhere else. Rule 5. $1 million doesn't make you better than your friends. It just translates you out of the language they still speak. 3 months later. Tuesday night, 10:47 p.m. Laptop on your knees. Rain against the window. The number on the screen reads $1,084,000. You stare at it the way you stared at $1 million 3 months ago. Except something's missing. The thrill is gone. The number that used to feel like the sky now feels like the floor you're standing on. You start doing math in your head, almost without meaning to. 2 million, 3 years at your current rate, 5 million, 9 years, 10 million, 14. You're 30. In 14 years, you're 44. You can picture that number on the screen as clearly as the one in front of you right now. And that's the problem. You already want it. You realize something on the couch on an ordinary Tuesday. $1 million didn't satisfy you. It cracked you open. It showed you the next number and the one after that. The hunger you thought you'd kill by reaching the goal multiplied the moment you crossed the line. You used to dream about $1 million the way people dream about freedom. Today you talk about it the way people talk about rent. It's just a number now, a floor you stand on, looking up at the next ceiling. You close the laptop. You don't feel ungrateful. You feel awake. The chase didn't end. It just shifted gears. Rule 6. $1 million doesn't satisfy you. It introduces you to the version of yourself who's willing to chase the next number for the rest of his life. 6 months later. An ordinary Thursday, 3 p.m., your coffee's gone cold at your desk. The thought doesn't arrive suddenly. It's been building the whole time and finally finds its moment to surface. The money didn't change your life. You did. The version of you who skipped the extra spending, who automated the transfer every single month and didn't panic when the market dropped a third, who missed trips while friends posted vacation photos, who kept saving even when nothing visible was happening for years. That version built this number. The number didn't make you patient. Your patience made the number. The number didn't make you disciplined. Your discipline made the number. The number didn't make you calm in front of the banker, steady when the market crashed, quiet on the inside at that cookout. You did all of that. You think about everyone who told you saving was pointless, that investing was for people who already had money, that you should spend while you're young because you only live once. They weren't wrong about the math. The market really did drop. The years really were hard. They were wrong about what that math was actually building. It wasn't building wealth. It was building you. You sit at an ordinary desk in an ordinary office on an ordinary Thursday and finally understand the next million will come easier, and the one after that easier still. Not because the math gets simpler, but because the person doing the math already became someone capable of doing it. You spent 10 years thinking you were chasing a number. You were building the version of yourself that the next decade belongs to. Rule 7. $1 million isn't what you have. It's the proof of who you became while nobody was watching. Somewhere right now, someone is sitting at their kitchen table at 11 p.m. The screen's glow is the only light in the room. They've opened the banking app for the 3rd time tonight. The number says $4,000. They feel small. They look at the digits and think everyone else is already somewhere they'll never reach. They don't know the number isn't the answer. They don't know the next 10 years aren't about the money. They're about who they become while earning it. They don't know that the version of them who crosses $1 million isn't them today. It's someone they still have to become first. The math is just the map. The person is the journey. They close the app. They put the phone face down. They tell themselves they'll figure it out tomorrow. They've told themselves that 1,000 times before. Most people never start. The ones who do find out something nobody warned them about. $1 million isn't the prize. The prize is the person you become trying to get there. You're one of 2 people right now. The one staring at $4,000 at 11 p.m., or the one who already crossed the line and found out what it actually cost. The number doesn't decide who you become. You do.